Although the techniques you're about to be exposed to are intended to serve as tools in the event you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to evade someone with hostile intent, they will serve to make you a better everyday driver as well. It is important to understand what evasive driving is and what it isn't. While the proper application of the principles you will be exposed to will enable you to drive a car more quickly, the focus will be on driver precision and vehicular control rather than speed. In this module, we will talk about the three components of the driving system: the vehicle, the environment, and the driver, and the role each plays in efficiently moving the car down the road. Through controlled exercises, we will see how the principles associated with vehicle dynamics influence your vehicle's handling. Lastly, we'll explore how all the skills you were exposed to can be used together by seeing them applied in real-world examples. Before we get into the practical applications, we must first look at the theories behind vehicle dynamics. Vehicle dynamics is defined as the physical forces influencing a moving vehicle and their effects on its operation. There are only three things a car can do: accelerate, brake, and turn. In theory, you can do all three things at once, but for a vehicle to perform optimally, the three inputs must be done separately. Although overly simplified, consider this example. If I had a dollar bill, I couldn't spend all of it on something and expect to have anything left to buy something else. Your car's handling capabilities are similar. It is capable of spending 100% of its abilities on any one thing, or a combination of the three mentioned previously. When you ask it to spend more than it has, it won't do any of them well, and there will have to be a trade-off. So for example, if I want the car to spend its whole dollar on acceleration, I can't also expect it to be able to spend a quarter on cornering and a dime on braking at the same time. The one thing all three inputs have in common is that they cause weight transfer, which in one way or another impacts the car's handling. Positive weight shift. This is the case when there is more weight over the front wheels of the vehicle. Imagine braking in a straight line. Negative weight shift. This is the case when more weight is over the rear wheels of the vehicle. Imagine accelerating in a straight line. Neutral weight shift. This is the case when the weight is evenly distributed over the front and rear wheels. Imagine driving at a constant speed in a straight line. Before we get into the car, there are also a couple of terms I would like to define regarding cornering and steering. Ocular driving. Ocular driving is simply looking where you would like the vehicle to go. It is achieved by keeping your head up, looking down the road, around the corner for example, and not at the ground directly in front of your vehicle. Apex driving definition: entry point, apex, and exit point. Oversteer is when you are attempting a corner and the car is diving into the corner at a faster rate than you intended it to. In other words, the car's turning radius is smaller than you would want it to be. This is often exemplified by the rear end of the car sliding out in a skid. Understeer is when you are attempting a corner and the front wheels are pointed in the direction you would like to go, but the car continues to plow forward. In other words, the car's turning radius is wider than you want it to be. Now that we've talked about some basic concepts, let's examine them from the driver's perspective. Okay, so what we're going to work on here is we're going to work on our steering inputs. Our steering inputs, there's three different types of steering that you can do. And you have hand over hand, you have shuffling, and you have crossover. In an exercise like this, and probably for the most part all of your driving, you should utilize shuffle steering. It just allows a better response when you're trying to steer as opposed to hand over hand or crossing. There are three things a vehicle can do: accelerate, decelerate, and turn. Now, you never want to do all three together. Even though you can, you just don't want to, only because if you accelerate during a turn, it opens your turning radius. If you decelerate during a turn, it closes your turning radius. So you'll notice that I am not releasing my hands from the shuffle steer, and I'm continuing to shuffle steer the entire time through this exercise. My steering inputs are nice and smooth. They're not abrupt, they're not jerky, and you'll notice that because they're not, the vehicle is not jumping around, it's not bobbing around, it's nice and smooth. You also notice that when I'm in a turn, I'm looking at my exit and looking where I want to go, as opposed to tunnel vision and looking right or directly in front of my vehicle. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over one of the other exercises or one of the other obstacles that we went over before, but this time we're going to do it in an SUV style type vehicle, which is going to have a higher profile. The possibility of rolling over increases, so we just need to watch and be careful. You'll notice that mostly everything will stay the same. The only thing is our speeds are going to have to be dropped only because of the size of the vehicle. But you'll notice my hand placement, my steering, my inputs are all going to stay the same. Nothing will change when it comes to that. So the fundamentals of driving or evasive driving are always going to be the same. No braking in the turn, no braking in the turn. Let off the brake, accelerate out of the turn. Brake before the turn. And nothing but turning inside the obstacle. And you'll notice my hand placement is nice and smooth. It's not abrupt, it's not jerky. Remember, smooth is fast. Smooth is fast. I'm looking at my exit. I'm looking where I want to go. You'll see that my steering is not jerky. There are a couple terms concerning braking I would like to define. ABS, or anti-lock brakes, is a braking system on a vehicle that prevents the wheels from locking up, which eliminates uncontrolled skidding. This system allows the driver to continue to provide steering inputs in the vehicle, even under emergency braking situations. Threshold braking. Threshold braking is a technique of braking used in cars without ABS to achieve similar results. The driver applies the brakes and releases just before the point of lockup, and immediately reapplies and repeats the process until the vehicle has decelerated the desired amount. Stab and jab is a method of braking before a corner that transfers the weight of the vehicle forward, a positive weight shift, increasing traction on the front wheels before the turn. This increases the car's ability to carry speed through the corner. Alright, so the next portion of instruction is going to be braking. There are many times where we have to brake evasively and be able to switch lanes while braking, okay? ABS allows you to do that. It allows you to continue braking and allow the tire to go through. And to make that vehicle stop, you need to stand up on those brakes and make sure you have those brakes applied as hard as possible. And just understand that the vehicle will continue to roll and slow down, but it will allow you to steer through any kind of obstacles. What ABS does is it does not lock up your tires. It's an anti-lock braking system. Because it doesn't allow you to lock up the tires continue to roll, and you're able to continue to move that vehicle. And you'll be able to stop. So ABS allows you to continue to brake and keep those tires rotating. So now we're going to try the control braking with the ABS in an SUV style vehicle. Come around this corner. Remember, again, ABS allows the wheels of the vehicle or the tires of the vehicle to continue rolling so that they don't lock up and get you into a skid that could be deadly. So we're going to pick up the speed. Remember, this can be used if a vehicle were to pull out in front of you, a child pulls out in front of you. If a ball were to roll out in front of you and a child is running behind, this is something that you need to be able to do. You need to know that you can still steer through a braking with ABS. ABS will not allow your vehicle to get into a skid. While driving backwards is something you do every day you get in a car, few people actually do it well. Sure, you can back out of a parking space or a driveway, but could you drive down the street and around the corner? In the following exercises, I will demonstrate the skills you need to develop in order to be more proficient at driving in reverse. All right, so the next exercise we're going to do is going to be a backing exercise. Backing is very important, and it's something that we do every day. What we're going to do is we're going to come in, we're going to keep our hands at the 9 and 3. Once we get here to the end of the driveway, put it in reverse. And now, instead of using your side mirrors, or your rear view mirror, you're going to actually look out over the back of your vehicle and keep your vehicle, and you're going to be able to palm the steering wheel. You'll back into your backing space, and then from here, you'll adjust yourself, and then you'll be able to take off out of the parking stall. This is real important, especially in a situation that you may have to back out of a roadblock or back out of an emergency situation. But it's also something very simple because we do this every day, even backing out of our driveway. I'm going to pick up the speed a little bit. And again, remember, look out the back of your vehicle, find your turning point, back in, and you're out. And you notice the fundamentals stay the same. This is the only time that I recommend palming to the rear. That's the only time. You never want to palm to the front, because anytime you're palming to the front, your hand might slip off the steering wheel, and you're gonna end up opening your turning radius or causing an accident. However, when you're backing out, you want to be able to palm from the rear. That way you have better control of your vehicle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over one of the exercises we've already done, but we're going to do it in an SUV or a higher profile vehicle. Nothing changes. The only difference is the dynamics inside the vehicle. You'll notice that all my fundamentals stay the same. And nothing changes. Remember, backing is something that we do every day, and it's something that we should be very good at. So again, we'll go through it a little higher speed. You'll remember to look out the back of the vehicle. That way it's easier to control. And you're able to get out of a situation quicker. So So you want to make sure you're keeping your head forward, good posture,